All right. So I went to Cinecon 60 this year, and that was on Monday for Labor Day, and I had such a blast. I always love going to Cinecon, and what I love about it is they showcase films that are obscure and ones that you've never heard of, or if you have heard of them, haven't been able to watch. Every single one of these movies does not have a physical release. There's no VHS or DVD or Laserdisc or any, maybe a 16 millimeter. I doubt it. These movies, though, are very rare and hard to find. I really like this event because I get to watch these movies with other fellow film fans, like Heath there from Serial at Midnight. He's a really cool guy. We actually got to watch some of the movies together. Like I said, really cool guy. But it's really fun just being able to share that love and appreciation of old movies with other people who also do. And it was a great little venue. It was at the Writers Guild of America Theater. It's not the largest theater, but I think it was still a really cool place. Really nice and really, just a really great little venue for this event. I just have so much fun going to it. And so, with that, let's talk about the films that I did watch at Cinecon. All right, so the like always, it's in opposite order because of letterbox. But the first film was Lancer Spy from 1937. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was an excellent espionage World War I film. You know, you don't see a whole lot of those, and I thought it was really cool. If they ever do release it, I definitely would buy it. You know, because I love the cast. You know, a bunch of no names, but still, I thought they did really good in their roles. It was fun, exhilarating, great thriller. I had a lot of fun with it, and if they ever do a physical release of it, I'm definitely buying it. Now, the only critique I have, and that's why I give it a 4, I thought the ending was a bit rushed and a little cheesy, but overall, I had a great time watching it, and it was a really good espionage spy thriller. All right. The next film was The Harvester from 1936. I gave that a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a good movie. I liked the cast. It was a cute little storyline. And a really cool tidbit before I get into my thoughts on the film. One of the actresses who's still alive, this film came out in 1936, Sue Collins. Cora Sue Collins was there, and she was the character of Naomi. And she said she had never seen this movie. She's 97 years old, and it was interesting seeing her on the screen as a 6-year-old. And I don't know why. It was just so mind-blowing that, wow, like, a movie this long ago still has people who worked on it that are alive. So that was a really cool, really, I would say a really special experience getting to watch that with her. Because, like I said, she hadn't seen it at all. It's not like today where, oh, I'll just find it on DVD or Blu-ray. No, like, this movie really hasn't been shown since it was in theaters. Now, you know, there's other festivals like Cinecon that show it, but still, like, it's never had a physical release. Now, this is a love triangle type story. There's a main guy, his name is David, and he's kind of in love with 2 girls. He can't really decide which one he wants to marry. One of them is a rich kind of socialite who wants to take him away from his farm and make him part of the family business, which is real estate. And then the other girl, who's a very humble farm, who would want to stay on the farm with him and whatnot. But he loves both of them, and he can't really decide. So I kind of like those kind of stories. I'm a sucker for romance and drama movies, I guess. But I had a good time with it, 4 out of 5. And yeah, I think it's one worth watching. And I think it takes place in like the 1890s, so it's a period piece too. So it was a good movie. I recommend it. All right, the next film was a silent film called The Flower of Doom from 1917. So the coolest thing about this movie was the guy who introduced it ended up being the one who's playing the little keyboard organ they had to play along with the movie. And I think the funniest part was he said something to the effect of, I've never seen this movie. It's probably a terrible movie, but I'm going to play along anyways, and we're going to have fun. And you know what? Yes, he was right. The movie was terrible. I gave it a 1.5 out of 5. But it was really cool seeing him play along and try to figure out, you know, the score and whatnot. he had this sheet in front of him, kind of telling him, where to do certain key notes and stuff on the piano, or not the piano, but the organ. That was pretty cool. But yeah, this was a dreadful movie. I did not like it. It was only like 45 minutes or an hour long, and it was hard to follow along. They did mention some of the scenes are missing, and so I definitely felt that. I was like, yeah, this doesn't feel like a complete story, because events kept happening. I was like, wait, who's that? And it was just really hard to follow along. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the story. It was like almost like one of those gangster type movies. Not really, but like a character gets kidnapped and they're trying to find her, and she's in a Chinese gang house and whatnot. And I don't know, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And so that's why I gave it a 1.5 out of 5. It was just an okay, short, not really the best movie. All right, the next one was The Bride Wore Crutches from 1940. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a really fun movie. I had a great time with it. It's a really good... It's almost like a screwball comedy, where it's a reporter who is kind of a bumbling doofus, and he tries to prove himself by going after this gang who's been robbing banks, right? It's not serious at all. It's a very cute movie. Like I said, kind of a screwball comedy. And the girl he's kind of falling in love with also works at the newspaper. And to spoil the movie, because why is it called The Bride Wore Crutches? So at the end of the movie, he teams up and pretends to be a bad guy so he could be with the gangsters, be on the inside, and then have the police come, right? And he's given a Tommy gun. He has no idea how to use it. And he sets it down, and it goes off and shoots her in the leg. And then she's just like, oh, you. And then it cuts to them on their wedding day, and she's wearing crutches as they're going down the aisle. And then he picks her up so that she doesn't have to use the crutches. But I was like, oh, that's why it's called The Bride Wore Crutches. It was such a random title. I don't know what I would have called it, but I wouldn't have called it that. I think that was... I don't think the title was good. That's one of the reasons why I gave it a 4. And I don't know. It seemed kind of out of nowhere that they fell in love. I digress. It was a fun movie, and I would probably watch it again. Alright, the next film was Nobody's Fool from 1946. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I loved this movie. I love the character of Will. He takes everything so literally, and he gets himself into all kinds of trouble. So much so that he has like the mafia and the city and the police and everybody kind of going after him because they think he's either a spy or he's, a gangster or whatever it is. But in reality, he's just kind of a half-wit, Like I say, he takes everything literally. One of the running jokes throughout the film, his name is Will Wright, and he shows up at a hotel, and they're like, oh, are you Will White? They're expecting someone to talk about, it's about housing or something. He said, right. Instead of saying, no, Will Wright, he just keeps saying, right. Trying to correct them, but it sounds like he's saying, correct, that's my name. That was the really funny joke, one of the funniest jokes throughout the film. I really loved it. I've tried so hard to find this movie. I really hope someone has put it on YouTube. I haven't been able to find it. So if you have it, let me know, because I really want to own this movie and watch it again and again. It's really, really funny. To me, the best movie of Cinecon for me this year. All right, the last film I watched was Hotel for Women from 1939. I give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was a good movie. I loved the fun premise where it's these girls who live in a hotel, right? The guys can't go upstairs with them. And they kind of get one of the girls interested in modeling, and then she becomes the best model, and then there's kind of fighting and back and forth with that. It's a really funny movie and a fun movie. But I definitely think I'm not the target audience for it. It's definitely more of a chick flick, if there was such a thing back then. I think women would like it a lot more. But I had a lot of fun with it regardless. It was a 4 out of 5 for me. The romance, it was a bit forced for me. But it was one of those where you're like, oh, I want them to get together, right? But I digress. It was good. I don't know if I would watch it again, though. All right, well, those are the films that I saw at Cinecon this year, and I had a great time with it, and I look forward to next year.